Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. It's a new week in Destiny, which means there are new vendor weapon rolls to take a look at. This week we're only going to look at the good ones. Let's go ahead and get started. So at the Crucible Quartermaster this week, we have a relatively fun 0-day dilemma auto rifle that comes with persistence, small bore, appended magazine, focused fire, close and or personal, and these are your side options. Now if you're going to run persistence with small bore plus focus fire, and use this in the Crucible, this is actually going to be a pretty fun auto rifle if you are a fan of this archetype. Definitely worth picking up and trying out for those of you who need a good Crucible auto rifle. Another one worth checking out this week at the Crucible Quartermaster is going to be this week's Palindrome that comes with reactive reload, reinforced barrel, and hot swap. This is not an ideal perk tree on this end, but it does also come with Sure Shot IS. Combined with reinforced barrel and reactive reload, you have a potentially good Crucible hand cannon. And for the record, there really aren't any bad Palindrome rolls. What makes the Palindrome so good is its base stats, so anything that you add to that is just going to make it better. So yeah, not a bad option for Crucible this week if you want to get one and try it out. The Each New Day Fusion Rifle this week could be worth taking a look at if you are a fan of Crucible Fusions. This one comes with Hot Swap, your choice of either braced frame for increased stability or rifled barrel for increased range. I prefer stability on fusion rifles because stability groups your projectiles together, and the more projectiles that hit your target, the more damage you will ultimately do. A lot of people will argue range here, just my preference. I prefer stability. I've had better luck with stability over range on fusions. And lastly, we have knee pads or life support, with life support being the obvious choice here. Sight options, you don't have anything that really changes your stats, but if you wanted a good Crucible fusion rifle, life support, braced frame, or rifled barrel, and hot swap is going to do you justice. So not a bad option this week. The 44 curtain call this week is also worth taking a look at. Comes with full auto, rifled barrel, and either knee pads or replenish. Some of you guys in the Crucible like to run around and slide like a douchebag with your shotguns. So if you're one of those people, then this is definitely an option for you. But for most people, you're going to want to go with replenish so that every time you pop your super, you get some free special ammo out of it. Combine that with rifled barrel and full auto, and you have yourself a decent, but not great, Crucible shotgun. And for your muzzle options, you're definitely going to want to stick with linear compensator here, since everything else reduces your range and impact. So linear compensator, replenish, rifled barrel, full auto, not a bad option as far as Crucible shotguns go. For those of you looking for a hard-hitting arc sniper rifle for PvE, this week's Event Horizon could be just what you're looking for. It comes with unflinching, your choice of either armor-piercing rounds or snapshot. Both of these are good to have on sniper rifles. And, of course, triple tap, which is going to make your 3-round magazine turn into a 4-round magazine. Your other option would be spray and play, which is going to give you an increased reload. And for sight options, we have the Hawkeye, the View Tac, and the Eagle Eye. I would probably stick with the Hawkeye here, as none of these sights are really all that great. But for PvE, triple tap, either one of these, and unflinching is going to be very good on the sniper. And like I said, if you just need a workhorse arc sniper rifle that hits really hard, go ahead and pick yourself one of these up this week. Taking a look at New Monarchy's inventory, this week the Assembly 2 auto rifle is not a bad option for Crucible if you are a fan of the high rate of fire, low impact bullet hose archetype. It comes with hidden hand, small bore, which is going to give you boost to range and stability while lowering your magazine, and then extended mag, which is going to bump your magazine right back up. As far as side options go, we also have steady hand IS for that increased stability, or we also have the OEG rifle scope, which is going to give you a little bit more range. As far as bullet hose archetypes auto rifles go, this is not a bad option for the Crucible this week. The Free Will 3 hand cannon this week is also not a bad option for Crucible, coming with rangefinder, small bore, and high caliber rounds. And you also have the addition of Sure Shot IS for one of your sight options, which is arguably one of the better sights in the game. Alternatively, you can do Quick Draw or Third Eye. I would not recommend either of these over high caliber rounds and small bore. And altogether, you're going to have a really, really high range hand cannon that could be fun in Crucible. Definitely worth trying out if you are a fan of the Thorn archetype. Moving on to Dead Orbit, this week's Extremophile 011 auto rifle is not terrible for Crucible either. We have Rangefinder, Small Bore, or Rodeo. Either one of these will be good. I would prefer Small Bore. We also have high caliber rounds to stagger your enemies, and combine that with a Steady Hand IS sight for optimized, excellent recoil control, and you have yourself a pretty stable, pretty hard-hitting auto rifle in the Crucible that's going to stagger your enemies and make it harder for them to shoot you back. Not bad. Not bad at all. The Last Ditch 001 shotgun from Dead Orbit this week is not going to be a terrible option for the Crucible, coming with Rangefinder, Hammer Forged, or knee pads if you're one of those people, or Flared Magwell and Snapshot. Both of these are going to be really handy in the Crucible, preferably Snapshot though, with the changes that Bungie has made to shotguns with their recent patch. As far as muzzle options go, you're probably going to want to stick with Smooth Ballistics, since the other two options lower either your range or your impact. So with Snapshot, Hammer Forged, and Rangefinder, you're going to have a very high impact shotgun that does pretty decent damage at some pretty intense ranges as far as shotguns are concerned. And Snapshot, of course, is going to make you aim faster. When you aim down sights with shotguns, you have a little bit better chance of killing your enemy in one shot in the Crucible. So, yeah, not a bad option for Crucible this week. This week's Whale Hand Cannon from Future War Cult is not going to be a bad option for PvE or PvP. Coming with Rangefinder, Hammer Forged, or Outlaw, both are really good, and explosive rounds to stagger your enemies in both PvE and PvP. For muzzle options, we have Steady Hand IS, Sure Shot IS, and Quick Draw IS, Sure Shot IS being probably the best choice here, and combining that with explosive rounds, either Hammer Forged or Outlaw. Outlaw might not be a bad option on this one, but if you're running explosive rounds, Outlaw is not going to proc nearly as often. So with explosive rounds, I would probably stick with Hammer Forged for the increased range. Combine that with Rangefinder, and you're going to have a hand cannon that you can work with pretty far away from your enemies, so it's definitely going to be worth trying out this week. This week's Walt's Pulse Rifle from Future War Cult is worth picking up for the Crucible for one reason and one reason only, and that is because it comes with high caliber rounds. On this archetype of Pulse Rifle in the Crucible, high caliber rounds is very, very good. Combine that with Small Bore, which is probably going to drop your magazine size down to about 24, which isn't bad, and also combine that with Headseeker, which body shots with this weapon increase precision damage for a short time, and you're going to have a pretty hard-hitting and very disorienting weapon in the Crucible. As far as your sight options go, I would probably go with Steady Hand IS for the increased stability and reload over the other two sight options. But high caliber rounds is the main reason that you're going to want to pick this up for Crucible this week, and it's definitely worth trying out. The Waiting Fusion Rifle this week has an interesting role, coming with Hidden Hand, Perfect Balance, Performance Bonus, Enhanced Battery, Snapshot, and sight options. Nothing really that changes your stats, so it doesn't really matter. But for both PvE and PvP, this is going to be an okay role for fusion rifles. It is, of course, the high impact, lower charge rate, similar to Saladin's Vigil. Enhanced Battery is never a bad option on fusion rifles. Perfect Balance for PvE, and I would say Performance Bonus for PvP to get yourself some free bonus ammo. And Hidden Hand is just never a bad option. So if you just need a solid workhorse fusion rifle for either PvE or PvP, then the Waiting is probably worth picking up for you. The Warpath rocket launcher this week is going to excel in one PvE activity, and that is Axis Phase 2 in the raid. It comes with Cluster Bomb, Heavy Payload, and Field Scout. And over here, we have Confined Launch, Linear Compensator, and Countermass. I would pick Linear Compensator here, even though it does drop our blast radius just a little bit in exchange for higher velocity. But with Heavy Payload, we're going to get that blast radius back and then some. So we have Cluster Bomb, we have Field Scout, and it does void damage. I would use this only on Axis Phase 2, and you're going to do very, very good damage with this only on Axis Phase 2. So if you need a good legendary weapon to replace your Dark Drinker, this could be a very good option this week because Cluster Bombs works really well on Axis's legs. So other than that, I would not pick this up, but if you like the Wrath of the Machine raid, like I said, this will be good on Axis Phase 2. The Occams Razor shotgun, being sold by the Vanguard Quartermaster this week, comes with rangefinder, reinforced barrel, flared magwell, performance bonus, or battle runner. We also have the options of smart drift control, field choke, and soft ballistics, field choke being the best of the three. Combine that with performance bonus, reinforced barrel, and rangefinder, and you have a very, very good range shotgun that you could use in Crucible that will give you some free ammo when you get a kill, potentially. Outside of PvP, I would definitely not pick this up. This is not a PvE role by any means, but for the Crucible, these three perks combined could be very beneficial to you, so it's definitely worth taking a look at. And that is going to do it for this week's video, guys. There were a few weapons that had similar roles to weapons that I included in this video, and because of that, I did not include the other weapons whose roles were similar, but maybe just quite not as good, or maybe the ones that I included had a better archetype than the other ones that had similar perks. But that's going to do it for the week, guys. Drop a comment in the box below. Let me know if you prefer this format over the format that I've been doing in this series previously, which is show you every single weapon in every single vendor. And also, guys, in case you didn't notice, I have created a new thumbnail template that I used on this video. Drop a comment in the box below. Let me know what you think of that. Let me know if it is an upgrade over my previous thumbnail template, because thumbnails are something that I'm considering upgrading on this channel, so your feedback is definitely welcomed. But that's going to bring this video to an end, guys. Drop a comment in the box below. Let me know if you tried any of these weapons out, and let me know what you think of them. If you enjoyed this video, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you for watching, and take care, guys.